everyone, this is Jim from TDB here, bringing you another In-Between. So today I'm going to talk to you about one of the best tea buys I've done, the best bargains I've had in terms of just price-quality ratio. And this was something that I bought back in 2018. So shout outs to Benoit, because he is my partner in crime here. We are the ones that ended up buying a lot of this tea, and this tea has done great on the speed test. So the story is basically that, this is around the time where people had been traversing Taiwanese auctions. It's a great way to get introduced to different vendors and stuff like that. And that scene really kind of has shaped what's happened as far as like the Western hardcore hobbyist scene in the last 6 or 7 years, for sure. So anyways, long story short, we got introduced to this vendor who I believe was based in Chiayi, which is in southern Taiwan. And he had, I think we were looking for aged oolong or something like that at the time. But he had a cake that I recognized from Marshall & blog, at least a very similar wrapper one, and it's a Mengku Rongshi Qizibing. What we realized later was that the cake we bought is misspelled and has a typo where it says instead of Qizibing, which is Q-I-Z-I, it's Q-I-A-I. So someone, A and Z are right next to each other, so someone literally fat-fingered that and mistyped it, which is kind of funny. I don't think it's that would put it as necessarily a fake, as I found some others with the same wrapper there. I think someone just probably screwed up and they did a couple big prints of teas with that sort of typo on there. So the Qizibing, but this is a raw cake. It's really solid. It's not necessarily like top tier tea, but it does well in my speed test. I think it's kind of on par with something like the 2006 Dai 8582, 2013 Shaguan Love Forever Paper Tong, something like that. So just like a really sturdy factory drinker that's like, not going to break your bank. And the best thing about this one was how inexpensive it was. So when we first asked him about it, I think it was something like $35, something like that, and Benoit went ahead and bought a sample cake, and I think he sent me just this tiny piece of it because he's based in Canada in like a letter, and so he just mailed it to Seattle where I tried it. I think it was in winter or something like that, and I was like, oh man, I'm buying way too much tea, but this is actually really good. So we're like, okay, $35. We asked him how much he had. He had something like 4 tongs. And so we're like, well, okay, we should definitely get on this. So we asked what the price would be if we bought that, and the price went down a bit. And so we bought these teas, according to my spreadsheet, for $25 a cake, and we bought all 4 tongs. I ended up with 2 of them. Benoit ended up with the other 2. And so, yeah, since then, it's been just a very, very solid drinker. I brought this back on to Inbetweenisode number 219, which came out, which was probably one of those weird episodes where I recorded it before COVID, but it aired in May 2020, so right after COVID. I barely remember it. I don't remember that time exactly what was being released on TDP particularly well. But yeah, we'll just quickly do this tea, have some quick notes on it. Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual tea for me because I'm very focused on kind of Sichuan-Bana area, with the exception of a couple Shaguans here or there. Mengku is not really a factory that I've had a ton of teas that I enjoy. It's historically, I believe, a bit of a black tea growing area, so a lot of their teas, people have said, tend to have that kind of Hongcha-like quality to them. And, there are some like pretty solid drinkers. Their tea is usually not super expensive. Even the stuff that you find in kind of the mid to late 2000s. But I've never quite liked it well enough. But this is kind of an exception. I do think that this tea stands out versus the other Mengkus that I've tried or sampled throughout the years. So yeah, unfortunately, this is obviously not a tea that people can go out and buy. But maybe if you happen to cross the wrapper or something like that from a random source in Chiayi or Taiwan or whatever, maybe you can try to pick it up. So yeah, let's get into the tea. So let's get drinking. So yeah, this is steep number 2. Cheers. Still quite hot. This tea, I would say, doesn't necessarily have much of a black tea taste to it, actually, interestingly. Feels like there was a bit of a turning point on that. The spring tips that has circulated quite a bit from 2007, there's a couple versions of that. That one is very black tea-like. Really woody. The character of this, even though it's northern, just sort of like what I presume Shagwan tea is, they taste very different from one another. Shagwan really leans into that pine wood forest thing. This one has a woody nature, but it's kind of a different sort of wood than that. Yeah, somewhat oily. It's definitely fairly matured, which is one thing that definitely attracted me to this tea. I don't think it's been traditionally stored or anything like that, but this has definitely been, I don't know, something like naturally aged in Taiwan would be my guess. Which makes it like smooth enough that you can definitely enjoy this now. I think the YYX is probably the better tea, but I almost enjoy this just as much. In fact, today I've been recording some episodes where I've been having a bunch of other kind of fancier boutique type teas and whatnot. And honestly, it's like this tea is almost just as satisfying as those tea, and some of those teas are something like $3 a gram. This thing is like $25, so that was like 7 cents a gram. It's a ridiculous price. I mean, I probably paid, with the shipping, that's the point where shipping actually starts to really count against you because the tea is so inexpensive. Kind of this like slight woody tobacco taste to this, I would say. Yeah, it also has like a decent amount of depth to it. It kind of goes more into the back of your mouth than you would expect something like a northern factory tea to do. I think the factory teas back in this era were just simply on average much better than the factory teas that are being made now. So yeah, I mean, I do like this. Cheers. Some resin, some bitterness. It's a tasty tea. Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is definitely like a poor drinker's tea, though. This is not even like a boutique drinker's tea. It's like you kind of gotta like that rustic, woody taste to really enjoy this and appreciate this. But it has good thickness. You know, there's no huge flaw with this tea, which is one reason I like it. And it just kind of has that factory sturdiness to it. Yeah, we'll do one more. Yeah, shout outs to Benoit. I don't know if you will see this episode or not, but this is definitely a great buy. I think it's you are a very good value hunter just in general, but I think this might be the best that we've done. I mean, this would make it actually cheaper than the 2004 Jaji that is like kind of like the cheapest regular drinker that you could buy right now, which is crazy because this tea is, yeah, it's 21 years old and very tasty. So getting a nice color out of this. Kind of a little bit of cocoa notes settling in as well. And then, yeah, as you can see, the leaves, I don't know, it's probably not too clear on the camera, but they're starting to get lighten up a bit as we brew it out. They're more like dark green, light brown now. So, I mean, it's seen some humidity and some heat, but this is not a traditionally stored tea. Cheers. It's good stuff. Let me know what your guys' best bargain is, the thing that you look back at and I'm like, man, that was a steal, and I did very well on that. This for me is probably my number one. There's some other teas I got for very good prices that are probably technically maybe similar level deals, but none that are like this where I want to drink the tea very often. For instance, it's like a 2009 Yongda Da Shuishan that I got for really nice price, but it actually doesn't do all that well on the speed test. Unlike this, which, while atypical from my drinking, fits very nicely, and it's good to have kind of like these random curveballs like this, just to mix up your tea drinking, introduce a little bit of variety. I'm definitely a variety guy. I don't drink the same tea for 4 or 5 days in a row. 2 days in a row would be a lot for me to drink a certain tea. So thank you all for tuning in. I will see you all next time. Cheers.